Many people have been complaining about the large number of spoiled and rejected votes during the last elections. So TCT decided to seek out Mr. Kenneth Monplasir QC to ask him why was there such a large number of rejected and spoiled votes, and in fact, to ask him when is a vote considered spoiled. The last elections resulted in a number of spoiled and rejected ballots. Why do you think that happened?
I referred that to the department, and it looks like my assessment, I haven't studied it carefully, appears to be voters indicating their protest. I say so because the nature of the reject votes. People put some of the reject votes, they had a tick on it. That's far from a cross, isn't it? Some of them put their initials on it. I would say that that's in opposition, somebody deciding that they don't want to vote for either party. Some of them used other symbols which indicated that a reject ballot. I think that that's part and parcel of it. The suggestion that we had made to put ballots a stamp would have avoided all that. It would have avoided all that, but it wasn't there to pass. So, you ask me why? I think that some of the votes, apart from the normal people who disregard or don't attempt to find what they should do, had used the voting situation as a protest. There were even incidents of an asterisk. Now, come on, any person who is not familiar with language or writing or thing, you don't put an asterisk. That's somebody who knows about writing and reading.
Apart from what you just mentioned, when else is a vote considered to be spoiled?
What I mentioned is not a spoiled vote. Let me explain to people. A spoiled vote is a vote that you have expressed your intentions in some form, and then you feel that it's either it's a mistake or you have not voted the way you thought you wanted to. You go to the presiding officer and you ask them to cancel that ballot because of X, Y, or Z. The presiding officer, in your presence, puts across the cartridge, marks cancelled, and puts it in a special envelope marked spoiled ballots. Therefore, spoiled ballots are never counted.
So what is the difference between a spoiled vote and a rejected vote?
The rejected vote is a vote that has been cast which does not conform to the voting procedure. For example, what I told you, there's no cross, but that somebody put their initials. A spoiled vote is a vote that is not counted. It's whatever, for whatever reason, you do not wish it to be counted, you go to the presiding officer and say, hey, I made a mistake. For example, you may have put a cross, or you may have voted for the person that you didn't want to vote for. Before it goes into the box, you go to the presiding officer, tell him that I have not voted what it is supposed to be, I want that vote not counted. He will cross it out and put spoiled, and it is in a special envelope. That is never counted as a result. So there is a fundamental difference between a spoiled vote and a rejected ballot.
Many people believe that if your finger with the red ink touches the voting paper, it is considered to be rejected or spoiled. Is that true?
I said it depends on the mark or smudge. And that's a determining factor. But if the ink is, if there's ink on it to suggest that there's some form of tampering, it would be disqualified from being counted.
Can you expound on that a little bit more for clarity?
I have to give visible examples. For example, if you have a big blotch of smudge on the thing, it can indicate a thing. But sometimes the ink can be very faintly looked up and suggest that it's not a deliberate situation. In other words, that's an area where discretion is exercised, and there can be differences in the result.
What do you think can be done in future to prevent spoiled and rejected votes or ballots?
What we attempted to do would be the right thing. We had stamps with a cross on it, which was used in Trinidad. I saw it and I recommended it, and the commission agreed. We bought the stamps, but the legislation was not introduced in time to allow it to take place. That would avoid a lot of this confusion. Put a stamp on the thing and the X is there. There's no question of a T or the cross is in the wrong place, and that's out. So that is our recommendation, and I think it would work well. Qui manière l'année si tellement vote qui pas encore passé. Et pourquoi moi qui manière yo ka décider à ce qui vote qui bien ou qui vote qui ni pour déplacer. Chaque vote à ce papier qui ni marque à ce yo pas ça pas encore un vote qui yo ça dit un vote yo ça compter. Moun ka mette marque à ce vote là, à ce papier vote là, qui yo pas ni droit pour mettre. Vote là c'est à quoi? C'est mettre ti quoi, zot connaît ti quoi, zot a dit ti quoi. Ou ka mettre ti quoi à sous placement au bordage non c'est moun là ouvrez vote. Si vous mettez non ou mettez pièce en flair à souris, on n'y porte pas. Ça part en quoi? So, you can déplacer ça, va compter ça. Et puis, you can créer ça en anglais, reject. Madame l'a demandé, moi, ça y est dit pour un spoil vote. Un spoil vote, c'est un vote qui pas qu'à compter. Ça veut dire, si les gens tués en place là, you can pour voter. Et puis, là où on tue à sous, ça y a créé bouffe là, pour mettre signature, quoi à sous, et puis crayon, y a bao. Et pour mettre dans place, ou pas quoi, ou te décider mettre. Ou quand aller au ti, c'est mon là qui est chargé, ouais, vote ça, m'a voulu vote ça en tuer. So, you can, ok, you can mettre la main et puis en pencil, crayon, et puis yo ka mette signature yo assoui, yo ka dit c'est un spoiled vote. Yo ni enveloppe spécialement pour ces qualités vote ça Antoine. Pour chi puis il pas qu'à compter. Yo ka ba l'autre papier pour aller pour vote. Si vous pas aller voter, si vous pas décider voter, ok, ça va pas compter, pourquoi compter? So ça c'est un spoil vote et puis un vote you reject, déplacé, pas qu'à compter. You qu'à compter mais déplacé.